time to shuffle up. With Duncan, Jeff, and Sloan, let's fill our cups. Commander decks in hand, the battle's about to start. A podcast for the legends, where magic meets the heart. Commander's Pod, where the stories unfold. With heroes and villains, new and old. Duncan, Jeff, and Sloan guide the way. In the world of EDH we play.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us again to Commander's Pod. My name is Duncan. I'm your pod father.
I'm Sloan.
I'm Jeff.
And this is our 50th episode, guys.
We made it.
Let's go.
Yep. 50th episode. So very exciting.
They really made it, the listeners.
Yeah, there was...
Especially after the last few episodes.
Yeah, they were rough, but we appreciate you sticking with us.
Indeed.
As we work through that. But today we're going to talk about the Aetherdrift set.
Yep.
We're going to talk about Sloan in the Wild. Because
Yeah.
this time you got out sans Jeff.
Yep.
We're going to finally give the details on the contest. It is officially starting on the giveaway for the Marvel Secret Lair all foil set.
Yes.
So we got that and
heck
some
of
other
a
gifts.
giveaway.
Yep. And that's, the stuff we'll be doing. And we're also going to talk about something that I got wrong.
Yes, which
Indeed.
we'll take much joy in.
We have
Especially
to
Johnny.
document these situations because they come up so rarely.
Don't know about that.
Yeah, well, maybe not. But anyway, so let's talk about Sloan in the Wild.
Yeah.
You got out there. We got to have some games. It was me, you, and Bryce.
Yep.
And it was a later night. You didn't
Yeah.
get there till like 8:30.
8:30ish, and then I bought some cards to upgrade Indoraptor, and then I played Indoraptor once you got there. So I didn't start my first game until 10, but we ended up getting, I want to say, 4 or 5 in still.
Yeah, no, we stayed late. We stayed until they closed at 2.
Yep. Connor let us close it down. So.
Yep. And they did very sad news though. Second week in a row, I didn't win any games.
What is sad to one person may bring pleasure to another.
Yeah, apparently, very much. But part of
I
that,
kind of wish he would still win at least one or two.
yeah, me too.
I don't. I went 6 months without winning a game at one point.
Right.
It was bad. I have no regret when someone's like, I have
You
one or
went
2 weeks.
6 months?
6 months without winning a game. I
Wow,
went 6
okay.
months.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
awful.
I guess
It
I
was-
can't I can't complain about 2 weeks.
Exactly. That's why it falls on deaf ears. But I played Interruptor, I think 3 games. I got 2 wins with them, which was super cool. I got to bust out who else did I play? I played not Prosper because Bryce was there and he complains.
Yep. Even though he was playing Beamtown Bullies.
Even though he was playing Beam, which I no longer feel bad for playing Prosper against him. If he's
Yeah.
going to bust out Beamtown Bullies and insta-kill people,
No, I 100% agree.
I no longer feel bad.
You
But
should
then I
not.
ended up playing one other deck. I think I played...
Well, you
my
tried to
enchantment
play
deck.
U3.
I tried to play U3 to make Duncan happy because that doesn't do what you think it does is sponsored by Sloan's Win.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tried playing U3 and unfortunately I forgot I pulled the cards out. I didn't proxy them like I normally do because I was lazy. And so I couldn't play it. So I played Zur is who I played.
Yep, that's
Not
right.
the mean Zur, the less mean Zur.
Right.
So
Yep. So that's what happened. But the Beamtown Bullies, I made that deck.
yeah.
I've played that deck. I
Yeah.
was the first one to make it in our shop. I made it. It was gross.
Mm-hmm.
You kill somebody first turn, and then usually you die.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying first turn like round 1, but I'm saying like very quickly.
Yeah, the first time you basically have to do his move. It's
Yeah.
usually good to instantly kill a player.
Is that how it happens? Like normally just one person's out for the rest of the game?
Yeah.
because
That's not a great...
because
pattern.
he has haste and vigilance, and his
Yeah.
ability happens at the opponent's upkeep is when you have to do it.
Right.
So because you do it at an opponent's upkeep, usually you're going to do it because you have haste on the immediate.
And you're going to
next-
give them some gross creature that basically kills them.
Yeah,
Right.
exiles their graveyard.
Exile
Yeah.
or their library, exiles their
their
library,
library,
or it kills them because it deals damage to him for something.
If
whatever
that creature
it may be.
dies, whoever was controlling it dies.
Loses
or
the
something
game.
Stuff
that.
like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when this creature leaves the
That's
battlefield,
not a
loses the
great
game.
play pattern either. That sounds
No, but
very unfun
it's
for whoever
crazy
they pick.
and something fun to do,
Yeah.
and there are ways to abuse it.
Yes,
Right.
there
You
is.
can untap them and do it again on the next person's turn and kill
Right.
somebody else if you have another thing in your graveyard. But so I was playing a bounce deck that I had just built, which wasn't super strong, which is one of the reasons I didn't win.
Right.
But I had the option to bounce his guy, to bounce
Beamtown.
which was the better option. My other option was to blink whatever he gave me and give it back to him, but I would still get the effect.
Right. So you would still lose, but in the process, you would potentially maybe kill him too.
That would be funny. That's
Yeah,
a
it
good way
was-
to go out, though.
Yeah, so I mean
Yeah.
that was my backup plan, but I bounced him like 3 or 4 times.
He did, yeah. So you were playing. The main way you did it was you had Venser in your hand, and you played Venser at flash, bounced him. Then you played a blink on Venser, and then
Yep.
bounced him again. And then you returned Venser to your hand and played him and bounced him.
Yeah.
So literally 3 turns in a row, you were able to keep him from being able to do his combo on you and try to kill you. So you
Right.
did.
But because I did it that way and used the blink on Venser, I did not have the blink to use on the thing Leveler when he played it on me,
Right.
which exiled my graveyard, my
Library.
library.
Yeah.
I wish
And
it
then
was
when you
my
went-
graveyard.
Yeah, and then when
And
you went
I-
to draw, you lose because
lose
you
the
got no
game.
card in the library.
Yep.
So it was fun. It was definitely cool. But yeah, Bryce, you have lost the right to complain about my Prosper deck.
Well,
Listen. You can't target me and say I'm a
there
dirty,
could be
Prosper
two
player.
gross. There could be 2 gross.
Sure,
players on
but
the
you
table.
can't say like you're a problem because you're a Prosper player when you play Beantown Boys and don't think you're a problem.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. The problem is he
That's-
doesn't think he's a problem.
Yeah,
You're
that's-
both a problem.
Oh, I 100% agree. Prosper is gross. He is a great commander, and I thoroughly do enjoy playing him. And he's
Oh,
definitely.
you played Calamax too.
I did play Calamax. That was also one of the other ones I got. That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
which
and
is Storm, which is also good.
it's copy.
Yeah, technically it's copy, but yeah, it's Storms.
It's a Storm deck.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's Storms.
But so let's talk about the thing I got wrong.
Yes.
So-
this
so,
should be enjoyable for Johnny.
Let's move on to our that doesn't do what I think it does or what I think it should do, because it would be in line with other rules they've made and it would make more common sense.
Today brought
correct.
to you by Johnny's Win.
Yeah.
And so again, it has to do with trample.
Yeah.
So trample and double damage.
Yes, when you look at it, you would think, okay, all my damage is going to be doubled. So if a creature has 4 toughness, all I have to do is 2. The rest will trample through. Everything's doubled.
Right.
Logically,
Right, you would think.
You would
so
think.
like I had a 7/6 commander.
correct. You were playing, I believe, Sauron is who we were playing.
Yep. And you had a 4/4.
I had a 4/4 blocker.
Yes. And I had done 14 commander damage.
Correct.
So 10 more kills you.
7 more kills him.
7
That's
more
true,
would have
7
killed
more,
me.
yep.
7
10
more kills him.
definitely does.
So if my commander could have gotten through unblocked with no doubler, but I did have double damage out.
On the
All
field.
sources I control deal double damage.
Correct.
So I swung in.
Right.
In response,
In response, I played
A rules
an
card.
instant. No, I played an instant that gave my blocker +2, +0, and indestructible until end of turn.
but I didn't care because I don't care. I'm
'Cause
going to do 14
You're dealing
to
double
your
damage.
blocker, and then you'll get, it's still only 4 getting taken off.
Correct. So 10
And
would
you'll
roll
have
over.
10 commander, more than enough to kill you.
Correct.
Because I only need 7 more commander. Except that's not how it works.
Yeah, because Johnny played one more card.
No, that
No.
was
The rules card.
no.
Yeah.
That's just called being better. I
But
don't
to
think
be
it's
honest,
hard.
you didn't think.
Well, you didn't
you
know
weren't-
it for
you
sure.
didn't think it worked that way
Yeah,
either.
the way I thought it
You were
worked
hoping it
was,
did.
was incorrect in the way I got to my number, but at the end result was still correct. But I was getting there incorrectly.
I got you. Okay.
Right. So
But so here is the rule, so you know.
broken down correctly.
Okay. You deal damage to the creature. My 7 damage, I assign 4 of it. I have to assign lethal for trample. So I have to assign 4 damage to the creature
Correct.
before anything will trample over.
Yes.
Just like the death touch thing, with death touch, you would only have to apply 1 damage,
Correct.
and then the rest would trample over. But I didn't have death touch, so 4 damage had to go to the creature.
Correct.
That leaves 3 to trample over.
Mm-hmm.
Then you double everything.
Correct. So that means instead of taking 10 commander, putting me at 24 to kill me,
Unbelievable.
I took 6 commander, putting me at 20, leaving me with 1 commander damage left.
Yes. And what happened on your turn?
I won the game.
Yeah.
I teed off, I did my combo, and I was able to kill everybody
Yep.
at the table. So it was
So just so you know how it technically works and why it works that way, the way that you process these effects is first you assign lethal damage, like I said. Then you apply the trample. Then you apply the modifiers.
Right.
So in that order. So when you
Right.
do it that way,
Yep.
that's how you come
So-
up
And
with
when
the
you do
six.
it that way, it does kind of make
Right,
sense.
because the verbiage of the card that you were using says double damage, not your creature doubles its power, right?
Right.
Because you're only doubling the damage, you have to do damage first. So when you logically think about it in those steps, it makes sense in that regard in the verbiage that they're
So
using.
so that is the first time that you have said it that way.
Yeah.
And this is the first time that I will say, yes, I do agree. When you say it that way, it does make sense.
Right, but because
You
they
have
don't
to
say it-
have damage dealt to have it be doubled.
correct. So to kind of, I guess, to
Or assigned.
And-
Not
yeah.
dealt, but assigned.
assign. So to kind of end cap this, if we rewind and let's say Sauron, you were giving him death touch, Duncan would have killed me because lethal at that point is 1, and then 6 gets to go through,
Which
and
is
then
12.
which is then becomes 12, and I die.
Right.
Right.
But because lethal is still 4, again, I had indestructible, so it wasn't going to kill my creature regardless. But it still technically says 4 is lethal for that creature.
Yep.
It still got to soak 4, which actually soaked 8.
And
And
the,
that's
the
what
other argument I had was, well, what about the excess damage that I'm dealing to the creature? Because it does 4 becomes 8,
Correct.
and that doesn't trample over.
Right, because at that point it's already been assigned. It can't trample over.
Yeah,
after.
because you can over assign damage.
So, I feel very proud. I got to teach Duncan something through my victory.
Yeah, but you didn't know it beforehand, so you didn't
wouldn't,
really
you
teach
wouldn't have
it.
learned it without me being there.
I mean,
I'll take
I
it.
guess. I guess. But so that doesn't do what you think it does, which in this case is me.
And that might, in my opinion, that might be one of the better ones because that is a tough.
That
I
i-
imagine most people do that wrong.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
to kind of paint the scene for you too, myself, Duncan, Bryce, Connor, and who's the other gentleman that works there? The other shop.
Devin.
Devin.
Well, Devin's a fill-in, but
Fill in, yeah. All of us were Googling phones like rapidly trying to figure
yeah,
out.
and it's hard because you got to get the question asked just the way you want.
right, you
There
gotta
are
get the
some things
wording
that
right.
lead you to think, oh no, see, I'm right.
Yeah.
But it didn't specifically say this situation.
Yeah, and to end cap this, the ruling that we looked up and found was from November of 2024.
Yeah, so
only
it was
it's very recent, 2 months ago. If there's been one since Saturday that happened, then we're wrong. That changes it. But as of when we checked on Saturday,
It seems likely that's not changing.
yeah. So, but that was it. So and again, I think everyone in that interaction learned something.
Yeah.
So I know I'm joking and jabbing at Duncan, but yeah, we all definitely learned that's the difference between doubling power and doubling damage.
Yeah, and it was really, really aggravating. I gotta tell you, I had it. I had him in my sights.
He was so smug, too, which I think makes it
And
a
he's
little
like, I
better.
cast this. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, he's like,
you
I
die.
don't care. You die. I was like, yeah, but how? He goes like this. I was like, I don't know why, but I feel like that's wrong. But can we check? And he's like, yeah, I'm fair. And then we looked it up, and he's like, no, it doesn't work
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah,
So-
very aggravating.
But good times. I did enjoy it. I had a fun time.
Speaking of aggravating,
yeah, what's aggravating you, Jeff?
well, microphones, the recordings,
I'm having deja vu.
yeah.
Wha-
Well,
what?
do you want me to talk about why?
I think you might want to talk.
Well,
about this.
so not only did we have some rough episodes where we really did try our best, and now we've bought new equipment, and even after that, we still struggled. We actually tried to record yesterday, did the entire recording to find out that the controller had run out of power and the camera wasn't plugged in. So, yeah, so we're doing this for the second time. I think it's going to be better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like,
well,
we had
and
a
we did
dry
have
run.
to do it differently from how we were thinking, but we at least tested it before, and it
multiple
worked.
times, and it's working.
It's
so
worked.
if it doesn't work now,
Yeah.
it's 100%.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
And what's funny is testing
Something
it
else.
yesterday was part of why it didn't work.
Yeah.
Because then I didn't
Yes.
set it up back the same way and blah, blah, blah.
But we're on the right track.
Yeah,
so
We are.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
so
my
I think
aggravation will.
I think for one of the few weeks, Sloan and I agree with your aggro.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Everybody agrees with my aggro.
No.
Yes, they do.
No. So let's get into our main topic. Let's talk about Aetherdrift, the Aetherdrift set preview. Let's talk about, we're going to go through the treatments, we're going to go through the rules, and then we're going to talk about some cards we like, and then we'll just kind of give our general thoughts.
Yeah, bookend it with our overall thoughts.
So the treatments, I thought there were some cool treatments in this one. First of all, the borderless serialized card for this set is the Aether Spark.
Yep.
There are 500 of them.
Yep.
And they are only available in collector boosters. That's
Right.
the only way you can get them. Then there are first place foils, which are like a yellow gold treatment. They're only available in box toppers. Now, the nice thing is that the box toppers are available in booster boxes or bundles.
Yeah, which is nice. So, but I think when we did a dry run yesterday, Jeff looked it up and he said the bundles, which normally for most sets are about $40 to $50, these ones are closer to.
So there's actually two.
There is two bundles.
There's two bundles. There's one bundle for 50. Don't get tricked. That one
It's
does
only in the
not-
first place bundle, I think they call them.
that one does not have these gold bordered cards. And what I believe is one you might get two, and one might be a land, and one might be one of the 127 different rares or whatever.
Right.
Don't quote me on that. Look it up, but it's something along those lines. So yeah, there is a $50 one, but the one where you get the special cards is like $80 on Amazon.
Okay, so that's very similar to what they did with the Lord of the Rings bundles, where they did one at 50 and then they had another one at like 75-ish or something like that.
Right, which is the way I feel like they should do it, because if you want the better cards, you should pay more for it.
Yeah.
But if someone wants to save money and doesn't care about that, they should get the cheaper
It
version.
wasn't Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, everybody kept saying about how it's crazy because you get the one ring in the bundle. It was Phyrexian will be one where they did the two.
Oh, okay.
Because the one was the Phyrexian Complete bundle, I think they called it, or something like
Yeah,
that.
I don't know how I guess the Lord of the Rings did go up eventually, but I feel like I still found it for a low price.
Yeah, for a long time.
I got mine for 70, and the one ring that comes in every single one of them, that one specifically, even though it's less valuable, is still $50.
Yeah. So that's what's going on with those different card
Yep.
types.
So that the first place foils. Then we got the Japan showcase foils and fracture foils.
The what?
The
What was that?
Japan.
Japan,
Okay.
yeah,
Japan.
not the Japan.
The Japan showcase. Because what's messing me up is even though I
spelled
saw this
showcase
yesterday when we recorded this, it's show-ast. AST.
Don't
Foils
do
and
that,
fracture.
by the way. That's
Japan
you get in trouble.
showcase
Don't
foils
show
and
ast.
fracture foils. And those are only available in collector packs.
Right. And now, I don't know if we were able to dig into this more, but are those ones in English?
Yes, they have them in English and then Japanese.
There is a Japanese one that will be in there as well. Okay.
Yep. And then special guests by Secret Lair. These are 10 cards. They're available in all the packs. Right now, they've only released 3 of them.
Yep.
What they are: Chandra's Ignition, Lord of the Undead, and Chrome Mox.
Right.
Now, Chrome Mox, that's a card.
Yep.
That's the chase, guys. Even though there's a serialized Aether Spark, I think Chrome Mox is the hunt is on.
Yeah.
And those special guests are available in all packs. But they do they have special guests first place foils, I believe,
Okay.
are out there. In which case, those will only be available in booster boxes and bundles. Anyway,
And only as the box topper.
box
cards.
topper, right?
Right.
And then they have the regular showcase.
Yep. That they've been doing. So.
So those are the treatments you can get and how to get them.
Yep.
The showcase are available in all the packs. Mechanics.
Yeah.
New mechanics, speed and start your engines. So this is the obligatory one set rule new mechanic that they've been doing. Every set has to have a new mechanic. I really dislike it. I down to the word hate that they think it's necessary to have a new mechanic every single time.
Yep.
However, this mechanic isn't too bad. I think there's some cool stuff they've done with it.
It's pretty simplistic comparatively to some of the other ones they've
Right.
added. Which
So
is nice.
I'll explain it quickly, and then Sloan will explain it. He'll read how it actually
Right.
reads. So when you play a card that says "Start your engines," that begins your speed. Your speed starts at 1.
Yep.
Each round that you cause an opponent to lose life on your turn, on your turn, if an opponent loses life, at the end of your turn, your speed goes up by 1.
Yep.
On your end step. And the max speed is 4.
Correct.
And then there's a lot of things that care about max speed.
Yeah.
So why don't you go ahead and read how it reads?
Yeah, so on the cards, it's going to say start your engine, exclamation point, in parentheses. If you have no speed, it starts at 1. It increases once on each of your turns when an opponent loses life. Max speed is 4. And then if a card has something that has to do with max speed, it will say on the card max speed and then a dash, and then whatever it does. Which we'll get into some of those cards later. That
Yeah,
we're gonna
some
look
of the
at.
cards have a cost.
Yeah, some of them have like max speed, cost, and then it does something. Some of them are max speed, it just does it. Some of them, so there's different mechanics.
And
But
similar to the City's Blessing, you can't lose max speed.
yeah, from what we've seen so far, there's been nothing that says it takes away from speed counters. There's
Right.
been no interaction with it and anything that's been spoiled thus far,
Okay.
except to go backwards. Everything to go forward.
Also, because I don't think it's a counter, is it? You
No,
just get
it's
speed.
it is. You get an emblem. Actually, they don't even mention the word emblem.
Yeah, we don't
It just
really
is a
know. I
thing.
guess,
It's like
but
day and
You
night.
just get speed.
Yeah,
it's
it
like
is
day and night.
Except for it's less annoying to
Yeah,
track.
and day and night is for the whole table, whereas this is everybody has their own speed.
It is more annoying.
But
to track
if you
than
have
City's Blessing,
nothing
though.
with start your engine the whole game, you have no speed. It does not apply to you.
And if you play a card that says start your engines and you play another card that starts your engines, then you go to 2 or
No.
you just
No,
stay
it
at
only
1?
the start your
you have to
engine.
do damage.
The start your engine only takes that ability only takes effect if you have 0 speed in regards to giving you speed.
Right, so you do have to do damage after that.
Then after that, an opponent has to not do damage, just lose life on your turn.
Right. Which so it could be good, it could be not great. But the
And
cool
it
thing
only
is
triggers once each turn, so it's not like people can be like, "Oh, it's each instance of life loss." Like, nope, just once on your turn. So if one person lost 1 life on your turn,
Yeah.
or if everybody lost 50 life, it doesn't matter. It's only one trigger per turn,
right.
which is
So,
nice.
I don't know if that's going to be good or not, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, they've done some neat stuff with it, so we'll see how relevant that is.
Right.
Exhaust is another new mechanic. It's activated abilities that only work once. That's
Period.
it.
And how is that different than exert?
Exert is
You can do exert
multiple times, and when you exert something, you tap it down, and it doesn't untap on your next turn. So you
Okay.
basically have to skip a turn of being able to exert it unless you have something that can force it on tap. Exhaust, similar, except you have to have something that can flicker it.
Yeah. If the permanent
blink,
that caused it bounces
Yeah,
or
bounces, flickers, blinks.
dies and comes back,
Yeah, recursion.
yep, those things will make it reset,
Yeah.
and you can do it again. But it's kind of like monstrosity.
Yeah.
Once you activate monstrosity, you can't make it monstrous again.
Yeah, I will say the one downside about this mechanic, at least on the card that I think we're going to preview, is there's no way to keep track of which one you've done. You kind of just have to remember.
Yeah,
Which is
and there's a lot of
yeah,
stuff. they
people are
move
going to
on.
have to track it.
Yeah.
Right.
Same
there
thing with
is-
speed.
There is a card in the set that says you can do it a second time,
Yeah.
so that will break that rule.
But with speed, they at least have a token they've created for you.
Yeah.
To,
You're going to have to
so-
put something on the cards to say it, because otherwise people
Right.
are going to accidentally cheat.
I don't think there's that many cards that are that good that are going to make it so that it's hard to track.
Well, we'll see.
We'll look.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So that's the next one. And then returning mechanics are vehicles, mounts and saddle, cycling, energy.
Hey, kudos. They brought back Saddle within 6 months of
Yeah,
releasing
and
it.
I called it.
You did call it.
Yeah, and the other thing we called while we're talking about it, we did say that we thought this set would be a little more. Jeff uses the word goofy. I'd say lighthearted.
yeah, and I don't think I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, I mean
So-
Jeff doesn't seem to be. I think Sloan and I are, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, we'll bookend with that.
So let's talk about cards we like.
Yeah.
So I kind of broke mine down by the theme of the cards.
Yeah. Now I think the first two we're going to talk about, Jeff is very excited about these two, specifically the one guy.
Yep. The second guy I'm going to talk about.
Right.
Jeff really likes. But the first one is these are both commanders from the precons. So the first one is Temet Naktaman's Will.
Can't say it, can't play it.
And I did say it, so there. And he is a legendary creature zombie wizard. He costs 2, a white, a blue, and a black, and he's a 4/4. Whenever you cast an artifact or an artificer, you get an energy. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 3 energy. When you do, create a token that's a copy of target permanent you control, except it's a 5/5 artifact creature in addition to its other types and has haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of your next end step.
Because that's what we needed is more energy stuff.
Right. But I think we do. I mean, they haven't done it
Yeah.
in a while.
So
And
they just-
frankly, when you build an energy deck now, they're viable now, but you have to put a lot of stuff in there you don't really, it's not
they're
optimal.
viable in that they do a lot of things, but they're kind of, what's another deck that's similar like you're really just doing a lot of stuff, but you're not winning.
There are There are energy.
You're
decks.
dirtling. It's a dirtle.
Well, so I mean, here's the thing. So they did energy. They kind of brought it back in Modern Horizons 3, right? They made the pre-con with
Yeah.
energy. So they tried bringing it back. They did make some.
They brought it back before that.
Yeah.
Wasn't Fallout was before that?
Right.
Yeah.
So Fallout did it energy, which was last year. Modern Horizons 3 did it energy again. They came out with some new cards in Modern Horizons 3 specifically that I remember that are actually like pretty solid.
Yeah, and in
It's a
and in
playable
Fallout.
style.
It's becoming more viable, and I think that's kind of what they were leaning into, was trying to make it more viable. So
right. And they're the more that this comes out, the more viable it's going to get. They're trying to make this a thing again. Make energy great again.
Yeah.
Mega.
mega.
Yep. Anyway, so the next one is Hashaton Scarab's Fist. This is the one of the backup commanders from the zombie deck. And Jeff, you bought the zombie deck, right? You pre-ordered.
I did, yeah.
Yep.
It's a good value, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So he is white and a black, very cheap. He's a 1/3 legendary creature zombie wizard. Whenever you discard a creature card, you may pay 2 and a blue. If you do, create a tap token that's a copy of that card, except as a 4/4 black zombie. That's pretty good.
That's very good.
Yeah, so if you're making this deck, his color identity is, what is that, Bant?
No,
White,
Esper.
Esper. One white, black,
We
blue.
just went over these. Man, you failed. Already failing.
Well, we've already been over the fact he doesn't listen to us while we're recording this podcast.
I
so.
mean, what did I get out of it?
Very cool, very fun concept where you're kind of digging into two things. You're digging into token creation and a discard deck. So you discarding your stuff doesn't hurt you. It actually benefits you. So you can do mass discard, I feel like, with this guy. So everyone's discarding, but then you're only one gaining benefits. You can also do instant speed discard because they do come in tapped. But however, if you can instant speed discard a creature on the end of someone else's turn.
By the way, if you make duplicates, multiples of the token, those don't come in tapped.
Correct.
Right.
They would come in
They're-
untapped.
This is going to be
so
crazy.
that
this deck.
is not true.
Oh, if you do, what's it called? Yeah, it has to. When you cast it, if it comes in off the same condition that the original.
Yeah,
would
we
come
did.
off
We
of.
did an episode on this.
Yeah, if you do it at the same time, if you're duplicating it at the same time.
Right. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
But if you make a copy of it later, then it will come in untapped.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
So just
because it's
depends
not a
on how you're
condition of the
making
token.
multiples of it.
Yeah, yeah. But like doubling season, they would all be tapped.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which, thank God, this is not green, so that.
yeah.
cannot be
The other
right.
thing is, it's not the best colors for
Yeah,
it.
but
But if you had a
Anointed Procession-
madness deck,
Yeah, madness.
Yeah.
that would
Yeah,
be crazy.
red. Well, black has some decent.
Yeah,
madness
no,
in
it does. No, this deck's going to be broken good.
Yeah, because I think the cool thing too is now that you brought up madness, that's a good point. There's a lot of madness creature cards that are like.
I don't think you want those, though.
No, you do.
because
You
you
have-
discard it as
I
part of the ability. So then you can pay this, and then you can still cast it for its madness cost. So you actually get 2 of them.
Yeah, you can do that, but I don't think
Which
the
would be good.
madness cards are powerful enough for that. I think you want to discard a whole bunch of stuff from your hand and then make copies of insanely powerful creatures.
But
Yeah.
yeah. which you do. But again, you have to pay 2 and a blue for each one you do. So
Yeah.
you'd have to be.
Well, you got to play
stockpiling.
training grounds in it, and it's going to cost 2 less, and that's only a blue.
yeah, it's this deck is going to be CEDH all day long.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And then the other one I liked was on Wings of Gold. This is an enchantment, a white enchantment, 3 and a white. Creatures you control that are zombies and or tokens get +1/+1 and have flying. Flying zombies, that's gross.
Yeah, who wouldn't enjoy Walking Dead more if they were flying?
Yeah. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, create a 1/1 white zombie creature token. So going with the guy we just named, you get that guy. No, the card doesn't leave. But if it was madness, it would. So the card doesn't leave when you create the copy, but this way.
But the nice thing is because again, black, blue, white is pretty heavy into recursion. So you make a copy of it when you discard it, then you recur it, then you get then you get a zombie for recurring.
Yeah, because this doesn't exile the card from the
Nope.
graveyard. It's very, very,
Yeah,
very,
so you
very
can
good.
recur it right from the graveyard, and then you get another zombie. So, with that being said, the enchantment that I really like, which actually comes in the pre-con, we checked when we
Yep.
did episode 50.1, renewed solidarity.
Yes.
Renewed Solidarity is a white enchantment, 2 in white. As this enchantment enters, choose a creature type. Creatures that are chosen type get +1/+0. A little bit of an anthem, not bad. However, at the beginning of your end step, for each token you control of the chosen type that entered this turn, create a token that's a copy of it. So all these zombies you're making.
Yep.
Now this would not make it come in tapped because
Correct.
it is doing it at a later instance, and it only cares about did they come in.
It's
this
only
turn.
copying it.
Because it came in this turn.
Yeah.
And it's copying it in a different instance. So
They
this
thought of it.
this gets around them having to come in tap. So if you even get 2 or 3 out, boom, right back. Now again, if they are legendary, obviously you get to sacrifice 1.
And this is where sort of
So-
when you're deck building, discipline is important because you can try to build Temet, which is the commander for the zombie deck. He's an actual zombie commander with Hashaton in it. And you can go 2 ways because you can have some discard in there. You could try to do both. But you might be better off just go ahead and build a Hashaton deck and build a Temet deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
I
they
would,
do 2 different things.
or I'd even say Temet is better in the 99 for Hashton because you're still getting all your benefits from Hashton, and then you get additional benefits from Temet, as opposed to the other
Only
way.
if they're artifacts or artificers, though.
Well, no, because he
No,
lets you
you're-
discard a card.
I think the
Temet.
Temet you're reading is a leaked one that's not real.
Yeah, the
it's
Temet-
from TCG Player.
Dude, we're looking at it right now. Here's the Temet.
Nactamun's Will. Vigilance, Menace. Whenever you attack, draw a card, then discard a card. Whenever you draw a card, zombies you control get +1/+1 until end of turn.
Oh.
That's the correct.
That's why I
is
was
the
very
correct one.
confused. Yeah, yesterday when you read that, I was
trying to
like,
figure out
Okay,
what
so
you're
so
reading.
that one is 2. That's the right power and toughness.
2
and everything.
white,
Wow.
white, blue, black.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know what you're reading.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
was
you were
so
reading the energy commander.
I
for a
thought,
second.
yeah, I was so confused when you did that. I was like, that
That
is
is
not
weird.
the right ability.
But it's
That is
fun.
weird.
Hopefully the recording goes well and we can have this later.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's that card.
Yeah, so Temet would be better, I feel like, in the 99 of him.
He would work in the 99 of Hashton.
Yeah, a lot better than Hashton works in his 99, I feel
Correct,
like.
yeah.
So, but yeah, I definitely think, zombie players are going to be very happy because now you have a 3-colored zombie that's really strong. You have 2 of them that are fairly strong.
2. Though I'd argue Hashton's probably not a zombie commander. You're probably just doing different things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But that's sort of like my argument when I say my rogue deck isn't a mill deck, and people are like, it has mill in it. I'm like, it's a rogue deck. It has mill in it, but it's a rogue deck.
This one, I feel like you have less of a foot to stand on because it literally makes zombie token copies.
Yeah.
Like it's in the name.
But you're not playing the normal kindred stuff.
Right,
is-
you're
is
not
what my
actually
point
playing
is.
zombies. You might,
Yeah.
you still might play some that are Anthem zombies.
Maybe, but probably not, because the stuff you're playing has gross abilities like Annihilator and stuff.
Yeah.
So I figured out what happened.
Oh.
So for all the other cards, I had a picture of it. When I was originally starting to clip it to put on my phone, I just took a screenshot of the rules on the first couple cards. So it is on TCG. It had Sahili's description,
Oh, and then he was.
but
the
it has
next one?
his. He had no. It's still him. It's got the cost of him. It's got the description of him, but the rules text is from her. That's
Weird.
because that's where it came from. I just went to Sahili because that's the next one I was going to talk about. So Sahili is 1, a green, a red, and a blue for a 4/4 legendary creature, human artificer. And she's the one that says whenever you cast an artificer or an artifact spell, you get an energy. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 3 energy. When you do, create a token that's a copy of that permanent, of target permanent you control, except it's a 5/5 artifact creature in addition to its other types and has haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next
Right.
sentence.
That's what I thought you were reading the entire time.
Yep.
I didn't know
But
why you were calling
all
it
the
Temet,
rest of the
but-
stuff around that was for Temet, and I had only copied the text, not the card.
Very funny.
Because
So
I
not
thought
only
the
does
card was too
TCG
small to read.
send you your cards bent sometimes, but they also ruin Duncan's.
Yeah, seriously.
So to go with her, since we brought her up, Aetherflux Conduit, which might sound familiar because Aetherflux Reservoir is another big artifact like this. So this is a 6-drop artifact. Whenever you cast a spell, you get an amount of energy equal to the amount of mana spent to cast that spell.
That's nuts.
Tap it, pay 50 energy, draw 7 cards. You may cast any number of spells from your hand without paying their mana cost.
Which,
So-
if I could be honest, 50 is not hard to get.
Not
No.
when you're getting
Not at all.
between 3 and 5 per spell. Plus, with her, you get an additional one if it's an artifact.
And
Plus
there-
all the other stuff you have out that's also
Yeah.
giving you energy.
Right.
And there's
every time
things
you do
that can
something.
double energy.
Well,
and-
for example, energy, is counters.
Yeah.
Guess what color she is? Green. Guess what green has?
Yeah.
A lot of double counters. A lot of them. So,
Yep.
and if you're wondering why they picked
So
50,
actually, it doesn't. It has a lot of double +1/+1 counters. There's a few that double counters, but not as many as do +1/+1.
yeah, but so
Yeah,
if you're
there's at least 3.
if you're thinking of why they choose 50, Aetherflux Reservoir, the other one that's an artifact 4-drop, is pay 50 life. You deal 50 damage to target player. So I think they would just want to kind of stay on theme.
Good flavor.
Yeah, good flavor. Stayed on theme, and in the picture too is kind of a tower like the original Aetherflux Reservoir was. It was also like this kind of big tower in the middle of a city.
Yeah.
So that's why they did that. But very good coupling with the commander Duncan just read.
Yep.
With the energy theme.
Jeff, what's your favorite card in the set?
Favorite card in the set is Aether Spark.
Okay, you want to read that one?
The Aether Spark. 4 colorless. As long as the Aether Spark is attached to a creature, the Aether Spark can't be attacked and has whenever a creature deals combat damage during your turn, put that many loyalty counters on Aether Spark because it is a legendary artifact planeswalker equipment. Good grief.
Talk
That's
about
a lot of
mouthful.
stuff.
Yeah.
So
that's all the words.
Let me read this.
I mean, it's not an
abilities.
enchantment, but other than that,
Yeah. +1, attach to Aether Spark to up to 1 target creature you control. And it gets +1/+1, that creature. -5, draw 2 cards. -10, add 10 mana of any one color. This card is nuts because it's a planeswalker that's pretty hard to attack. I mean, you could kill the creature and then attack the planeswalker at that point, but it's much harder to do. And if you put this on any creature that ends up being 5, right?
Yeah.
You're drawing 2 cards every turn.
Right.
see, but
Which that by itself
here's
is
the thing,
nuts.
though. I want to put it on a creature at 6, and I want stuff in my deck that says I don't have to pay for equip, because I will just equip it for free, swing him for 6, get those 6 counters on there when it comes in with 4. Now you have 10.
The only
Now you do the 10 mana, you gain 6 mana, just like that.
The only
Boom,
problem
done.
with that's tough is in those decks where you can put equipment on for free, because I play that one. I play what's the white and red? The 0 cost red creature. What's his name?
Oh, Rack.
Rograk.
Rograk. Yeah, and Arden and Rograk. I don't want 10 mana. I don't know what I'd do with 10 mana. I just don't need it.
Well, you don't need to have a specific deck, though. You just have those couple cards that take advantage of this as a combo.
Yeah, but how are you going to run into those cards in a 100-card deck?
Because there is a bunch that say you can equip for 0.
Well, I mean, even
There's another equipment that does it. There's
a
the
commander that
brass
does it for
squire.
knights.
But it
that you
basically
tap
attaches
and
for
equip
free
target
anyways.
artifact to target creature.
It's just its +1 ability.
Yeah, but what he's saying is if you can equip it for free, you don't have to use its ability, so you can immediately take advantage of using the mana.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. So I mean, and the other thing is
But
too, it's really
I'd be
good.
okay waiting a
It's
turn.
really good in decks where you're going to be hitting pretty hard. Like for example, I know it's a little off flavor, but your dinosaur deck, because you hit people for 15 with a
This
dinosaur.
would go good in a dinosaur deck. This would go good in a Traxa. This would go good in if it's a big mana deck, this goes in it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's really good. I mean,
Because
it's
for 4 mana, you might make 10
right,
every turn.
right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So you can use that to either draw
But-
2 cards
but
or get
don't-
10 mana.
We get stuck on the big ones. Don't forget, drawing 2 every turn.
Right.
I mean,
gross.
it's on par with the One Ring. Because the One Ring, can draw you 5 or 6, but at that point, you have a damage issue.
Yeah, you have taken 6.
You got to do something. This, you'll never have a damage issue, and you're going to draw 2 cards every turn.
Yep.
It's very good.
Yeah.
So, but there's a lot of good cards in this set. Nothing really. I mean, that's a little broken. Sounds like it
Yeah,
could
I
be,
mean, I would
but
probably
nothing crazy.
I would probably say out of all the ones that we saw in regards to just overall power level, if we're looking at it, that one's probably going to hit the top of the list for most people.
It's for $98 right now. in
Yeah.
TCG,
I mean, I would say too, even that zombie guy that you're gonna build,
Yep.
I feel like he's gonna be pretty relevant for a while.
He'll probably be
so.
$10.
Yeah, I
maybe
think he'll
15.
go up. I think he'll hold his value, and he'll hold his value too.
Do you
'cause-
want me to read this next one too, Duncan?
Sure.
Yeah, you can hit loot.
Loot the Pathfinder. 2 green, blue, red. Legendary creature Beast Noble. Doesn't look like much of a beast. It looks like a hamster.
He's a baby beast.
It has double strike, vigilance, and haste, which I don't know why a hamster has double strike, vigilance, and haste, but okay. That's like on par with a Traxon. It's a little hamster. And then
Have
it has
you not played against Boo?
Yeah, yeah. I did. Exhaust green, tap, add 3 mana of any one color. Gross. Exhaust blue, tap, draw 3 cards. Exhaust red, tap, loot, deals 3 damage to any target. And he's a 2/4. I think he's a he. I can't see,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of glad.
So this is the new exhaust mechanic we're talking about. So all of those abilities that he just read can only be used once, unless you're able to flicker, bounce, recur, any of those other things. As long as he gets removed from the battlefield and comes
Or play
back
the one that says that you can play exhaust abilities twice.
twice. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to play this 2/4 hamster that they call a beast noble that has double strike, vigilance, and haste, it's a pretty cool commander.
Yeah, and the nice thing,
Perhaps his father was a hamster, and his
His
mother,
mother
smelled
smelled of
elderberries.
elderberries.
yeah. But I think the cool thing is because he does have haste, you can immediately exhaust his green ability, and so you were dumping 6 mana, but you get 3 back technically if you do that. So
Yeah.
not the worst, but yeah, I mean and because he has vigilance, you can actually attack first, and then you can do that.
Duncan, were you at the medieval fair where I got to do that?
No.
No. Oh.
That would have been great. So I don't think this would have been a true vehicle set if they didn't actually make a good vehicle commander, which they came out with. So Koladin, Triumph Caster, red and white. He's a human pilot, 2/3, legendary creature. Mounts and vehicles you control have haste. Whenever a mount you control enters the battlefield, it becomes saddled until end of turn. Whenever a vehicle you control enters, it becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. Pretty cool. They kind of made mount and vehicle deck viable with this. He's only 2 colors though, red and white, so you got to kind of play around that a little bit. But I think it's a good start. It's a good way to kind of make them viable and make them fun. So
No, it's pretty good. So one note of this set, the 2 commander decks only. So hopefully this isn't a trend. Hopefully
Which
they're not
I think
only
Gavin
going to
has a video explains why.
Okay.
To be fair, though, I didn't listen to it because I don't care
yeah.
why.
Well,
But
I
there is a
care if
video.
they are only going to do 2.
From now on, that would
Yeah.
be kind of
Although it would be cheaper.
sure.
Man, that would save me
I
some
would
money.
be a fan of them only doing 2. Focus on 2 really good ones and
Yeah.
just don't.
We'll see how
They're
good
making
these are.
too many cards as it is.
Yeah, that's true.
But so that's kind of some cards that we got from it. The lands, there were some cool lands.
So 3 things about the lands real quick we'll hit on here. So the first thing is they did what I guess we're gonna call it the Verge cycle. So these are lands that they're gonna come in. They don't come in tapped. They tap for a color, and then if you have either for example, in this one, a mountain or a plain, it then will also tap for a red. So you can either tap it for a white or a red, but you can only tap it for a red if you have a mountain or plain, if you control a mountain or plain. And again, not a basic, just a mountain or a plain.
What's
So-
that one called? John,
So
you wanna
this
look
one
it up real
is
quick?
Sunbillow Verge. It's a red. It comes into play, taps for a white, and then it taps for a red. Activate only if you control a mountain or a plains. So and they did these for every for 5. I think they did 5 of them. So there's the Sunbillow Verge. Then they did the River Pyre Verge. The next one was
Yeah, so just so you guys
Bleachbone
know,
Verge. So
that's on right now for $10. That's a good land. If you're gonna buy the box and you get those lands, that's great. Don't go out and buy these for $10.
No, because
These
after
are
they're out of
$10
standard, they're going to be cheap.
Right.
But unfortunately, that's 3 years away.
Yes.
yeah, and the other thing is too, they did the same thing in Thunder Junction.
Yeah.
With a similar idea and concept. So those are the
I
first.
do wish they had basic land types. That would have made them. Mwah.
Yeah, that they would
that
have
would've
been way
made
too
them
strong.
broken,
Yeah,
yeah.
they would have been crazy strong if they would had basic land types. The next set of lands they did were lands that care about max speed. So these lands they come in untapped. They tap
Call them the
for
speed lands.
yeah. We'll call them speedways because they're actually all raceways. So they're raceways.
They're raceway lands.
Raceway circuit.
But speed land sounds better.
Just makes them sound like they're on drugs. But so start
Hey,
your
hot
engines.
shot. What do you do?
Yeah. So they all have start your engines on it, and then they all tap for colorless, but then they have a max speed ability. So this one, for example, we're looking at, which I think this one by far is going to be the one everyone wants, is Muruganda Raceway. Max speed, tap for 2, colorless.
Yeah, in Commander it's going to be.
Without taking 2 damage.
Well, yeah, without taking 2 damage.
And without having to wait till you have 5 lands.
Yeah, I mean it's nice.
I don't ever have that problem.
Yeah, Lizard does. But so there's another one, Amaket Raceway, same thing, taps for colorless, but then when you have max speed, you can tap it. Target creature gains haste until end of turn, which is pretty good. Avishkar Raceway, same thing. Taps for colorless, but then max speed, pay 3, tap it, discard a card, draw a card.
Now, what's interesting in this set, look at them real quick, because I think the first one you read is rare, and then it's uncommon, and then it's common.
Which
Yeah.
is good because the first one had the better ability.
Yeah,
It should be
but
right.
normally they don't do that, but I
Yeah,
think
they
it's
just
kind of
make
neat
'em-
that they did that. So.
Yeah, they paid attention. And then the last thing we'll hit on about the lands is the full art basic lands they did.
Gorgeous.
Well done. Great concept, great idea. You did a whole set about vehicles. The lands are from the cockpit view of vehicles. So Duncan will probably put them up here over our heads. The forest, he's like on a pathway, like in the treetops. The mountain one is in like a mountainous wasteland. The swamp is in the cityscape
swamp.
at night. The island one by far I think might be my favorite because it's actually a boat helm.
So it's got a ship.
So it's got a
wheel.
big old steering wheel off of a ship, and then the plains is kind of like a very bright desert speeder look and feel to it. So full art basic lands again knocked it out of the park.
Yep.
They have been killing it. With
And
the
those
full
are
art
going to be
basic.
available in the first place finish.
Yeah, so I'm actually a bigger fan of the ones that are not those lands. Like the ones that are coming out like the Sunbillow Verge, those lands look insane, I think.
Yeah.
But
Because
if
those
we're
Well,
are,
that's
building a
I think
vehicle
that's the
deck-
alternate art too that you're looking at.
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
full
this
art.
is a full art, but the first place, is that what it's called?
yeah,
yeah.
The first place yellow one looks cool too. Yeah.
yeah.
so very cool lands. I thought they did a good job with those.
Yeah.
Overall thoughts on the set, Jeff?
Well, I'm underwhelmed. I think there's a couple chase cards, really maybe only one. Do not think this set will be deep. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that in a month or so I am pointed out to be wrong, and I'll eat crow at that point. But I think it's going to end up being a fairly weak deck, and it's not going to be deep
Set.
at all.
Set, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, I think I like it. I think they did a good job of staying on theme. In regards to kind of what I'm looking for when I look at sets, for them to be thematic, I don't like the idea of them kind of just throwing stuff together and saying this is a set. They kind of did that here. It was a little bit more cutesy in regards to it wasn't like dark. Now, granted, our perspective of dark is pretty dark because we literally have a horror plane that they keep going back to. So
Yeah.
they do make some dark stuff. But with that being said, I mean, overall, they did a good job. Like, all the stuff makes sense on why it's there and what they picked. You know, they made pilot creatures. They brought back energy tokens. They did the start your engine mechanic and speed. So, it all makes sense. I think that it should be fun. I think there's going to be some fun cards and some cool things. And I'm glad that they're trying to boost play styles that aren't as relevant right now. They're trying to at least make them better and more relevant.
Yeah.
Vehicles and mounts specifically, like I mentioned with that one commander.
So my thoughts are, I like this set. I really do, and I'll tell you why. Number one, no push to the power level. I don't think this set pushes power level a lot.
Right.
I don't think it's a huge contributor to power creep. The Aether Flux is a little gross, or Aether Spark is a little gross.
Yeah, the Aether Spark. Mhm.
We'll see how that goes. But other than that, there's nothing here that like breaks the meta.
Nope.
Yeah.
I think they did a good job thematically, like you said.
Yep.
I do feel like there's two things going on. I feel like they had an idea for a zombie set, and then they had an idea for a race set, and they just said, let's put them together.
No,
You know?
I think that's 100% true.
Yeah.
And I also think this feels story-wise more like, what was it called? Murder at Karlov Manor or whatever,
Yeah.
where there's like no story, or the wedding one that was really dumb that made no sense.
Yeah.
And it also feels like the Outlaws at Thunder Junction, where they just stuck hats on things. It's just, I'm just not a big fan. Normally I'm not negative
So,
like that, but
I think it's a good set. I think the lands back it up. I think the art is really good. I think the treatments are cool. Like I said, I'm really tired of a new mechanic every set, but I'm just gonna have to get over it because that is literally all we get now. We do not get one new set without a new mechanic. So, but I think overall it's a good set. It's not a great set, but it's got some cool chase stuff, reasons to collect, reasons to play. You got new stuff to put in your decks. I think it's pretty good overall. I mean, I don't know. It's not going to be the best set of the year, but it's a good set overall.
I mean, we
I
already know it's got to be Spider-Man.
Yeah, I feel like it's like let's just one more set. This will tide him over till we get to Spider-Man. You know?
think. Yeah, well, or Final Fantasy.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's our thoughts on the set. It will be out in about a week, a little bit over.
Give or take, yeah.
Oh, actually, it'll be 2 weeks. 2 weeks from when this comes out. 2 weeks in a day. But so that's what that's about. Of course, the pre-release will be the week before that, which is next week. So let's talk about our contest.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So
What
we've
they're
been
all here
teasing it for a while.
Yes.
Yeah. The grand prize is the Marvel Secret Lair foil edition, the complete set, unopened. It does not include Earth's Mightiest Emblem because I did not get an Earth's Mightiest Emblem except from Jeff,
Right.
because he got his. So there is not one of those, but other than that, it is a complete set. The way to enter, you have to be a subscriber to YouTube or Patreon to win this.
Right.
And to enter, if you are a Patreon member, you do not need to do anything. You get an automatic entry, and not just one entry, you get 3 entries.
Right.
Every other place that you follow us, you get an entry.
Correct.
To show us that you are interested and are participating, send us an email with the header of the subject of contest. In the body, I want you to put where you're subscribed and what your user or handle is there. And like I said, for each place you are subscribed, you will get 1 entry, except for the Patreon members will get 3.
Correct.
So it's the 1 normal and then 2 extra for being Patreon. So it's a pretty good perk for coming in if you want to help support us, especially after we bought all this nice equipment and finally got it to work.
Hopefully,
Hopefully. Yeah.
Oh, no, we did.
50.3 coming
by
up.
the grace of God.
Yep. Couple notes here. So like I said, to win the grand prize, you do have to be a YouTube subscriber or a Patreon subscriber. The goal here is we have to hit 50 subscribers on YouTube for the grand prize to be given.
Correct.
And there are 2 months to do it. The end date will be March 28th, or some March.
March.
And
March
if they
28th.
don't get it, there are still some giveaways,
Yes.
but the Earth's Mightiest will stay on the block for a potential giveaway in the future.
Yes.
It
but
will not pay out.
if we don't get there by March 28th, it will not pay out. So the second and third place prizes are a backpack, which I will show here. We've shown it before. There is the backpack with our logo on it. It's very nice. Got some pleather on there for a little bit of fancy look, and a crossbody bag. So those are the 2. The second place prize is the backpack.
And
Third place prize is the crossbody
it's
bag.
not a purse. It's a
It's-
satchel, and Indiana Jones has one, so you're good.
Yeah. So those are the second and third place prizes, or in the event that we do not hit 50 YouTube subscribers, that would be the first and second place prizes. Those, though, you do not have to be a subscriber on YouTube or Patreon. As long as you subscribe to us anywhere, you are eligible. So just send us in the email.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, but it's not hard. Just join YouTube if you're not a subscriber there. Add us there, and you automatically get entered.
And Patreon
for-
has different levels too, so we don't need you
Yeah.
to join at the top.
And there are some cheap levels. I
Yep.
mean, you can get in there very cheap. So definitely that's the way to go to get 3 automatic entries is just be a Patreon subscriber. Far easiest way to do it. Otherwise, send us an email. If you are a Patreon and you subscribe to us elsewhere, send us emails with those additional things so we can give you those additional entries.
Right.
We may also, so we've got a little bit of time before the contest ends now.
Right.
We're going to have 2 months. We may throw out some other prizes here and there to kind of sweeten the deal, to kind of give some other options for winning. So stay tuned for that. I think that about covers the contest.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's about all the time we have for our 50th episode. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for putting up with our audio issues the last 4 episodes. But we got it. We got there. It only took us to record this one twice to make sure. We didn't really have a choice
Which our
because the
wives are
equipment cut
super
out.
happy about.
Yeah,
by the
they're
way.
they're all
Ecstatic.
very stoked. Thank you for joining us. If you want to support us again, Patreon is the best way. Patreon.com/commanderspod. Very easy.
Yep.
Sign up. We're going to be adding some more benefits to that coming up, so stay tuned for that. You can always email us at cast@commanderspod.com, whether it's to enter the contest, to talk about what you would like to see, what you liked seeing, that type of stuff.
If you want us to do deck techs, we did one just the last episode for
Alex,
who messaged in and asked us to do one. So if you have any maybe deck techs maybe you want us to do, or what maybe you want to dig into our personal decks too, let us know and we'll go through some of our personal decks that we have.
Yep. So there's that. You can check out our website, commanderspod.com. And don't forget, as always, please, when playing Magic, kill Andrew first.
And we did.
Commander's Pod, where the stories unfold, with heroes and villains new and old. Duncan, Jeff, and Sloan guide the